Welcome back, everybody, to yet another episode of the Author's Log. I'm Nyiko Furumele, the author of The Old Ones, a new saga in African dark fantasy. If you guys do find yourselves enjoying the content, you could leave a like, subscribe, comment, share. It means a lot and it goes a long way, especially in the run-up to launch day. It really helps me a ton. But other than that, guys, let's get into today's video. Today I'm just going to be talking about the abysmal time that I had in editing. If anyone here who's watching has ever actually written a novel, I'm sure you guys know about the dreaded editing slog. So before I had even sent my manuscript off to an editor, I revised it myself multiple times. I'm sure I mentioned before how bad my first draft was actually, and the inconsistencies and just the bad grammar and everything. But it was a process of me sharpening that around 8 times. Now, in the editing process, we went through that even more times. I remember that I was amazed that I could continue to read my story over and over and over again, and I'd never get tired of it. But during the editing phase, I got extremely tired, and I was actually getting fed up because there'd always be these little changes, like changes that wouldn't necessarily make sense. And I remember always thinking that I was at the end of the stage, but then I kept getting pulled back. Like it's such a relentless thing, like a total onslaught. There was even a time where I had to do line by line editing. Like I had to go across every line because I thought the editor was going to correct certain things, and on that round of editing they hadn't. So that was like that epiphany moment where I realized that I'm actually going to have to play an actual part in this manuscript, and that I couldn't actually expect them to do right by it. I had to ensure that if there was fixes that I needed or wanted, that I had to implement them myself. And even with now, because then I'm running up on my own deadline, because I had my own time where I wanted the novel to be released, and I could see that these things are dragging, and I didn't even know what stages were left. I didn't know that there was still going to be layouts and all the stuff. So I ended up getting fed up. Like I read up to like chapter 2, and then I made a slight correction in like a time frame, and then I just said no, let's just send this thing out, and I just had to trust that everything else was fine without going through it again, because I was just so fed up. I was so tired of the back and forth, and it felt like I was never gonna escape the editing phase. So I was just like, no, send it out there. We did our best. I also had to trust my revisions and everything, and just trust that no, I did my best, they did their best, and we gave it our all. But yeah, that does it for today's episode of the Author's Log. It's actually episode 10, so I'm just gonna pat myself on the back for that one. Good job. And thank you to you guys for tuning in and supporting me. It means everything, especially now that things are actually switching into a higher gear. So I just wanted to say thank you. This is me, Nyiko Furumele, signing off. Peace.